And then at 26, they got who, and I'm in the minority here, I think is the best player in the entire draft. Might as well just segue right into the draft.
Man, yeah.
So there were quite a few trades. That first round is one of the best I've seen in a long time.
Insane.
The Saints traded up for Chris Olave. Take him at 11. They took him over Jameson Williams. They took him over Burks and some other guys. I like Olave a lot. I'm really high on him. I was part of the unpopular small group that had him as wide receiver 2 in the entire draft. I think he's great. The Lions used their late first and early second to trade up and select Jameson Williams. Dude, they finessed the Vikings.
Yeah.
They traded, what'd they get, 12 and 46 for 32 and 34? They finessed the Vikings.
The Lions had a really good draft, at least for the first round.
After taking Hutchinson, they go with Jameson Williams, which is a great deep threat. And don't get me wrong, Jared Goff is not the long-term answer, but he deserves a little credit. He can air it out on occasion. So he's going to get one more year to prove it, and then next year's a good quarterback class, and so they'll draft a quarterback if he's not it. The Ravens, in an all-time finesse.
Yep.
2 years ago, or 3, whatever, they took Hollywood Brown at pick 25. He was pretty good. He's fine. He's nothing crazy, but he's been a good receiver.
I don't think he was worth a first round,
They flip him a couple years later for the 23rd overall pick. What?
I was so shocked when I saw that because
I'm pretty sure they then traded up to take Tyler Linderbaum.
Yeah.
And we'll talk about it later, but the Ravens killed it, dude.
Man, how did they get how do you give up a first round for Marquise Brown?
Here's my thing. They lost Christian Kirk, the Cardinals did. And Hollywood, I think, is just a better Christian Kirk. And
I would say
also,
second at least.
I would guess that they knew that DeAndre Hopkins was going to be out.
Yeah.
Which, yeah.
Yep. Yeah.
But easily the biggest trade of the entire draft. The Titans traded A.J. Brown. And
I did not see it
They
coming.
traded him for a first, and I'm pretty sure it was a first and a third. What? A.J. Brown. And then he signs a new deal with the Eagles that's 4 years, $100 million, and it's only 60 guaranteed or something. You can't pay him that. After how good he's been, you can't pay him that. And if you're a team that's not the Eagles, you can't give up a first and a third for A.J. Brown?
Yeah, for real. So if A.J. Brown went for a first and a third, and then Marquise Brown went for a first,
and Amari Cooper went for a fifth.
What is this?
Good job, Cowboys.
This is so ridiculous. What?
Oh, Debo news.
Is he staying now?
Lions and Jets, and I believe Texans, I'm going to say, made offers. None of them are that great. So he's still a 49er right now, and
he's probably going to stay a 49er
I know social
now.
media isn't everything, but he's clearly been using social media to show how he feels. And earlier today, he liked a post saying that he's probably going to stay on the 49ers. So take it how you will, but he's playing mind games.
Man.
But
dude, the whole thing is so confusing.
Anyway, the Titans traded A.J. Brown, and they used the pick they got to draft Traylon Burks, whose pro comp is A.J. Brown. So that'll be interesting.
They got a younger A.J. Brown.
Yeah. I threw this in here. I don't think he's as good, but I threw this in here. The quarterbacks slid.
Yeah. That was kind of crazy.
You knew that they could fall a little bit, and I felt stupid having only one in my first round of my mock draft. And only one went. I got the one wrong, but I'll take a little credit.
Well, I think what kind of played into it is overhyping these quarterbacks in mock drafts, because the highlight of all mock drafts is having quarterbacks in there. So people would always be 5 quarterbacks in the first round or whatever. So it's
the thing is, quarterbacks are usually overdrafted.
Yeah.
But I think that for once ever, they might have been underdrafted in some cases here, which is crazy.
I thought second. I thought at least Malik Willis and Matt Corral.
Yeah.
Or not Matt Corral. Matt Corral was probably third. I thought Malik Willis probably goes second. So did Desmond Ridder. I thought at least. So I didn't. That was kind of crazy.
Yeah. Pickett went at 20 to the Steelers. Good situation for him. He's the only first-round quarterback. They also ended up taking 2 receivers in the draft, including George Pickens, who... Did you see the video of him getting drafted? He was wearing a ski mask, and he was standing...
so sus.
The typical...
so weird. NBA young boy.
Yeah, the typical.
Dude, he was Dude, that was so crazy.
He is so boomer
I thought
bust.
that was so real. They're so fake.
A little side note. We had our Dynasty rookie mock draft the day after the draft, and I traded Traylon Burks away for George Pickens and Rachaad White. So I'm betting on George Pickens to boom, but he could bust.
Man, dude.
Anyway, Malik Willis, who was believed by many to be the QB1 and a guy that could go as early as 2.
Was the third.
And he was probably never going to go at 2, but I'm surprised he wasn't day 1 guy. He went mid-third. He went at 86 to the Titans.
He was the third quarterback off the board.
86.
That was shocking. I'm surprised that Desmond Ridder went over Malik Willis.
I thought after Willis wasn't a first-round pick, I thought for sure someone was going to trade up immediately in day 2 and take him. And then the Seahawks had 40 and
then
41.
The Packers drafted up, and I was afraid.
I thought for sure that the Seahawks at 40 or 41 were going to go with him. But no, he fell all the way to 86. It's insane.
That's what I was kind of surprised about, too.
So,
I'm surprised the Seahawks didn't pick a quarterback.
Sam Howell, who was in QB1 conversations before this last season, got drafted after Bailey Zappi. He goes, I think he went...
Zappi went to the Patriots.
I think he went 4th round to the Commanders. And then Matt Corral gets drafted after Desmond Ridder. Matt Corral was a guy who was QB1 until a couple months ago.
Yeah.
And Corral goes to the Panthers where he's not there. He's not ready. He has a lot to work on, but he's only behind
problems, and that's why he slid.
He's only behind Sam Darnold, so I don't think it'd be out of the question to see him start a lot of games this year.
Well, okay, the crazy thing that I'm thinking about with this draft is why these quarterbacks slid. Was it interviews, they sucked at interviews?
I think
did Malik Willis just...
I think they just aren't that good.
They said Desmond Ridder, he passed all of his interviews, and that's why he went... Didn't he go second? Third?
I'm pretty sure.
Well, that's why he went over Malik Willis. So did Malik Willis just straight up bomb his...
I can't imagine. He bombed his interview. Malik Willis needs a lot of work. He is a big boomer bust prospect. I know that the guaranteed money that comes with being a first-round pick is awesome. Mm-hmm. But as a third-round pick, he's got no expectations anymore.
Yeah.
So, in a way, that's an advantage for him.
Well, teams kind of like the first round.
The thing is,
because of the fifth year option.
But the quarterback class just wasn't that great. It wasn't nearly as good as last year. I don't want to hear any argument. All 5 of those guys would be the first overall pick this year. I strongly believe that.
Probably not first overall because...
Well, I guess the Jags had it, but
yeah,
they'd be the number 1 prospect. Number 1 quarterback by a mile.
Probably the second overall pick because the Lions probably would take him.
Yeah. Yeah, all 5 of those quarterbacks were significantly better than all these guys.
Yeah.
They all have their red flags. I mean, Pickett's got the hands issues and the fumbling issues. Ridder and Willis are just not that accurate. And Willis played at a small school where he didn't necessarily have to always make multiple reads on throws. Howell dropped off significantly after his talent left to the NFL. Bailey Zappi was thrown to open guys all year. Mm-hmm. And Corral has injury concerns, which I'm sure makes you happy since he's mobile. But and some accuracy concerns. They all have issues. And obviously no prospect is perfect, but I don't know. I think that mixed with how great the quarterback class is next year with Stroud, with Young, and Will Levis is getting a lot of top 10 buzz out of Kentucky now, and he's so fun to watch. Mm-hmm. And the third thing is this was a really deep draft at a lot of different positions. So those 3 things work together, and I think that's what dropped the quarterbacks. And it'll be interesting to see. I mean, there's a very realistic scenario where none of these guys are starters.
Yeah.
So
I see that.
But
man, it was definitely a crazy draft. But I think we probably have to move on to the NBA real soon. So
I don't know, man. The NFL draft is the best.
I know.
We'll run through this real quick.
Okay, yeah, we could do that.
My favorite pick of the first round was by far Jermaine Johnson at 26. The Jets went Sauce Gardner at 4, who I think is CB2 and has an argument for CB1. They went Garrett Wilson at 10, who I think is wide receiver 1. And then at 26, they got who... And I'm in the minority here, I think is the best player in the entire draft in Jermaine Johnson, edge out of Florida State. He's incredible against the run and the pass. He's going to be an impact player right away, and his ceiling is so high. I think he's the best in the draft. I think at worst, he's edge 3, and they got him at 26. So, incredible pick. The worst, you mean worst draft pick of the first round or just in general?
Yeah, I guess first round, I mean.
Of the first round, I know the popular answer is Cole Strange.
Yeah.
But that's boring. I hated the Drake London pick. I hated it.
I hated him that early.
Right. The Falcons need a lot, and I think when you're a rebuilding team, you should rebuild from the trenches first. And there were a lot of good players available at 8. I really think they should have traded back and got multiple high picks, filled out their roster. They're not ready to contend at all.
Mm-hmm.
That, and they took London first receiver off the board. He's wide receiver 5 for me in this draft. It's not that he can't separate against Pac-12 DBs, but he was easily the worst separator out of the top tier of receivers.
Yeah.
And I just don't trust the 50-50 ball style of receiver as much as I trust separators in the NFL. So London was my least favorite pick of the first round. The last thing here is who won the draft. I think it's pretty clear the Ravens. They got good value on Hamilton, even though I'm not a big fan of him. Linderbaum is an excellent prospect. They took a shot on Ajabo, which could pay off huge. They killed it day 1 through 3. The Seahawks, as much as I hate to admit it, had a very good draft. And I think the other team you can throw up there is the Jets and the Chiefs. I think they all crushed it.
So for me, my favorite pick, I would say, I don't really know who I want to. I'll say my least favorite. Okay, this is going to turn into ranting about the Packers draft, actually.
I thought the Packers had a really good draft.
I already know that Packers normally don't whiff on picks, so I have that to kind of assure me. But Christian Watson at like 34. I mean, I'm not really a fan of Christian Watson.
Great pick, I think.
I think that, he didn't play that well against certain competition that was like higher. I think he was able to light it up easily at NDSU because he was playing against no-name teams. And I think that he struggled quite a bit with route running, especially with like keeping his balance and everything throughout the year when he was playing like Senior Bowl and everything. So, I mean, I guess he could be great if they fix that, but like...
It's a swing for a home run.
Yeah, I guess.
If he puts it together, he's going to be elite. He's like 6'5".
But like the Packers don't need a receiver.
He's 6'5" with
for like
4.33 speed. Like that's...
Well, yeah, like his intangibles are great, but
incredible.
You kind of need a player that is gonna produce now. I don't think he's gonna.
And
produce
he can.
Now.
He can.
Like, it'll be a risk.
It really
I think
depends.
It'll be a big risk.
He's more likely to produce with Aaron Rodgers than
with anyone else. Yeah,
so
I agree.
I like the pick personally, and I like them not going receiver in the first round because all the ones worth a first round pick were gone at that point. So anyway,
unless they would have moved up, but like I don't know. I did really love the Jets draft. At least.
So you said Watson was your least favorite?
I don't know if he was my least favorite. It was just a rant, I feel like, at that point.
Yeah.
I did really like the Jets. I did like Sauce Gardner at 4. I hated the Stingley at 3. I would say that. I think he isn't really worth a third-round pick. But the Texans like to reach. They're not a really great drafting team except for Deshaun Watson. So, I mean, I kind of...
Derek Stingley's going to be incredible.
But I think I'll say that. But